All right, so this is about to be fun. On the way to the Warriors game, there's the Transamerica Pyramid. Here's my driver, and I've got the first 49ers 53-man roster ready to go. We're going to go through this position by position. The draft has added 17 rookies to the 49ers, so here you have a look at the roster. We can take a look at it as we drive, but mainly I'll be talking and showing you guys this beautiful day in San Francisco. Still looking for a ticket to the Warriors game. Hopefully I find one when I get to Chase Center. But I figured that over the 36 minutes that it takes to get there, we can run ourselves a nice show because finally we get to talk about the materials that the 49ers have in the building to build this team. So we're going to let's start at special teams. That's fun because for the first time, the 49ers might actually have a specialist make the team beyond just the kicker, the punter, and the long snapper. And we don't know if the kicker they currently have, Jake Moody, is going to be the 53-man kicker. It could be a rookie that they bring in. It could be a veteran that they bring in and beats out Jake Moody. We're just going to have to see. But right now, Moody, Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter, and the new long snapper replace Tabor Pepper, John Weeks, are on the inside of the 49ers roster picture. The fourth guy that I'm talking about that might be able to give San Francisco a unique special teams room is Junior Bergen. This is their final pick of the draft. 7th round pick out of Montana. Record holder in terms of punt returns at the FCS level. 8 of them taken for touchdowns at the FCS level. So Junior Bergen, he's not going to make the team as a wide receiver. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were very clear about that. If he makes this football team, it will be as a punt returner. He had 10 chances last year, and he returned 3 of them for touchdowns. So it was at a lower level, but I think this is still a player well worth watching, and I do think that it shows a newfound dedication to special teams on the 49ers' part. So that is the start. Now we're going to go through everything else. This, overarching piece of information here, I'm going to ask Mike. Mike, if you can toss the link of my standard article into the description so people can check it out into the top of the description, I think it would be a lot easier for people to follow along and sign up for the San Francisco Standard if you haven't yet. We're going to have a beautiful drive down the Embarcadero on our way to the Warriors game. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got about 33 minutes before we are at Chase Center for the Warriors game, and hopefully I find a ticket once I get there. Steph Curry's career has been so awesome, and I was in San Francisco throughout the 2010s. He's only a year older than me. So many special memories. He's meant so much to this city. I figured you just got to soak it in while he's doing his thing and head on out to the arena. Since it's in San Francisco now, it's a lot easier to get there than when it was across the bay. So we're going to do that as we pass, actually, Levi's headquarters. Levi's headquarters are right here. Levi's Stadium, San Francisco company. Make the blue jeans, right? Legacy business in San Francisco. Okay, so we started with special teams. Let's move to the defensive back position, especially since we are stopped now. You'll be able to see what we're looking at as far as the DB room. Deommodore Lenoir is a core piece. Renardo Green is on his way to becoming a core piece if he continues playing the way he did last year. I've got Upton Stout starting for the 49ers at that nickelback spot, but I think there's going to be competition. Trey Brown, who's shaded in teal because he's a free agent signing. The rookies are in green. Trey Brown is going to be in the mix for that third cornerback role, although I think Upton Stout is tailor-made for the nickelback role. They want to move Deommodore Lenoir permanently to the outside. That was behind the drafting of Upton Stout. Somebody like Saran Neal is going to make the team. He's a big-time specialist. They signed him to a 2-year deal. And the final cornerback spot, Darrell Luter Jr., does he get another chance for the 49ers? Potentially. I think that Darrell hasn't really gotten a chance at DB. He's gotten a chance on special teams. That hasn't gone all too well, but at DB, he's got some talent. But there is a lot of competition. Look at the size of this ship. It's called the Eurodam. Wow, it's a big cruise ship here on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. You always marvel at how big those ships are. I mean, this is the ultimate transit shot, right? You got a big ship, and then a car driving itself down the waterfront in San Francisco. So at that cornerback position too, you've got Trey Tomlinson, Jacob Robinson, and Trey Avery on the outside looking in my projection right now. Tomlinson's the small corner that the 49ers picked up from the Rams off of waivers. Jacob Robinson is an undrafted free agent for San Francisco, coming out of BYU. I think that he needs to hit an NFL weight room. He might be a redshirt kind of guy, at least a practice squad redshirt kind of guy. And Trey Avery, who was somebody the 49ers brought in earlier this offseason. They've got 3 Treys now on this football team. It is a very Trey heavy. Treys come in threes for the 49ers. As we roll down the Embarcadero, safety, Jair Brown, obviously making this football team, especially at this point with the Malik Mustafa injury. Mustafa, there's some debate about what's going to happen here, but it seems to me that Malik Mustafa will most likely begin this season on PUP, physically unable to perform. Here you have the safety position. It's down at the under Upton Stout. I could even probably point to it if it helps right there, Malik Mustafa. And Malik, with the ACL tear happening on January 5th, I would think that the 9-month window, which is probably the fastest we can hope for Malik Mustafa to return, the 9-month window would indicate that he's probably going to have to be shelved for the first 4 games. Now, maybe he could shock people and not be shelved for the first 4 games, but there's a reason why they got Richie Grant and Jason Pinnock. And the reason that they got Richie Grant and Jason Pinnock is because both of them have safety starting experience and both of them can potentially fill in next to Jair Brown. Now, Marquise Siegel, who's the very fast new rookie, I keep on talking about the fact that he hit 15.7 miles per hour at the 5-yard mark of the 40 at the Combine, which was the fastest of any player. People are going to be really excited about him. I just don't want to put that kind of burden on a rookie on April 28th. I'm not going to say, oh, they just drafted you. What was it, in the 4th or the 5th round? Why don't you just go out there and start at safety? I think that some guys with experience probably have a better shot at that job. So that's a look at the defensive backfield. In many ways rebuilt. Not totally rebuilt, but in many ways rebuilt. Now we get a good look at the trolley. What city is this one from? It is from St. Louis. Nice. I think we saw St. Louis last time that we were on this route down the Embarcadero. So we're going to pass the Giants ballpark, Oracle Park, formerly Pac Bell Park. First, we're going to pass the Ferry Building, though, that you could see the clock tower of the Ferry Building as we talk about the linebacker position. I've got Fred Warner. D. Winters is the second linebacker for now. And following that, the rookie Nick Martin. Nick Martin, I think the 49ers are really counting on him to win that job against D. Winters at some point in this 2025 season. But I don't think it's going to happen right away. He's a speedster, plays with his hair on fire. He's a run and hit linebacker, but D. Winters made strides last year, and I think at the very least he's going to hold down a bridge position for the start of the season while Nick Martin gets his feet wet. Now, Martin could show up and totally blow everybody's socks off and grab that secondary linebacker spot to Fred Warner. And if that happens, that's exactly what the 49ers want to happen. They're talking about Nick Martin as if he's the second coming of Dre Greenlaw, and that'd be great for the 49ers. But again, I don't think it's wise to put too many expectations on rookies too early on. So now we pass the Ferry Building. I don't know if you can see it through there. Yeah, it's not going to be the best shot. This is actually turning into a pretty quick drive, so I should continue going through this 53-man roster. I have the 49ers initially carrying 10 defensive linemen. And this is kind of crazy because you see with the green, this is the first string column. Look at all those rookies in there. They might start 5 rookies on defense. For comparison, the Rams last year started only 3 rookies on defense, and that was considered this revolutionary youth movement. But they might start 3 rookies on the defensive line alone if things go well, between C.J. West, Alfred Collins, and Mykel Williams. Now, then the question is, who do they carry beyond that? 10 seems like the limit, although they have carried 11 defensive linemen before. Okawanu, Givens, Jordan Elliott, obviously Yetur Gross-Matos. Yetur and Mykel Williams are going to be, I think, splitting some time, and really rotating together at that defensive end spot for the 49ers. It's going to be a very power-oriented defensive line for San Francisco. They're rather short on speed rushers, as you can see here. Yetur Gross-Matos is not a speed rusher. Mykel Williams not a speed rusher. Neither is Bosa nor Okawanu. You know, I don't have Beal making the roster as of right now, but Robert Beal is really the only true speed rusher in this group, and maybe just for the sake of having one on the roster, he will make the team, and one of these defensive tackles like Jordan Elliott will be on the way out. It will just depend on if they believe that Kalia Davis is still developing, and they don't want to cut ties with him quite yet. So there'll be some interesting competitions, but I think just generally, philosophically, the 49ers are moving away from the smaller defensive end because of their run defense struggles. Stephen David asked, didn't get tickets to the Warriors game tonight. I'm on my way to the Warriors game right now. Now, part of what you said, though, is true. No, I don't have a ticket yet, but I'm headed to Chase Center, and I'm hoping that I get lucky. You know, I'm committed. I appreciate exemplary performances, and Steph Curry's done something really special over the course of the past decade plus. And I figured the Warriors in the city, and as you can tell, I'm on the Embarcadero going near the Bay Bridge. We're going to be going under the Bay Bridge here in a second. We're going to be passing the Giant Stadium. So I decided to do my 53-man roster projection while we make the drive. Anyway, the 49ers are moving away from the model of speed rushers. That was the D Ford era. They dabbled a little bit more in it later, but I think they like their big defensive ends, and they're going to work on pushing the pocket. They're going to be trying to convert power into pressure. San Francisco Fire Department boat. There is the Bay Bridge. I always like going under the Bay Bridge. Always a neat angle, right, as we get to see it here. I should open the window for you guys. But there was a time when the Warriors were thinking about building the arena right here. Right on this pier by Red's Java House. They've got a great burger, by the way, at Red's Java House. But it was too hard politically to get the arena built on this pier in the bay. So instead, we've got 15 more minutes as we move down toward Chase Center. So anyway, here, let's flip it around to the roster again. One of these defensive tackles might be cut ultimately, and it will depend on injuries, to make room for a speed rusher. Because right now the 49ers have only power rushers. But maybe they're okay just going power, power, power. I think that based on what we saw in this draft and the comments from Lynch and Shanahan, they'd be okay just going straight power. I think that they've determined that that's the way that they're going to be a dominant defense again. That they have to stiffen up against the run, and then they can use guys like Mykel Williams, who, by the way, is just really, really effective. Did I mute myself again? The audio cut out. You guys know that that's my fault. I always hit the button and it's an accidental mute, but I think I'm back. Where did I leave off? Where did I cut myself off, Mike? Was I still talking about, did you guys hear the part about the power rushers and the 49ers moving away from speed rushers? Like, how long was it completely quiet? We're stuck in traffic right now on the way to the Warriors game, so we've got a little bit of time. We're all good. Look, we're stuck behind this guy. Beautiful drive, though, and then a nice little look at the sunset through the skyscrapers and the Bay Bridge. Not bad at all. All right, so you guys lost me for like 30 seconds. My main point is that they're not going to carry an edge rusher just because he's a speed rusher and he weighs in the 240s just for the sake of carrying him on the roster. I think if Robert Beal does make this team, he is going to have to showcase something that gives the 49ers reason to believe that he can move the needle and he deserves to be there, right? So he's got to make a big stride this offseason. And if that does happen, then I think you'll see a situation where one of the defensive tackles, and I could show you here again as we move down, one of the defensive tackles on this team, Jordan Elliott, maybe Kalia Davis, maybe Evan Anderson, although I think they love Anderson's potential, doesn't make the roster. Now, what happens often is that guys get hurt, right? And when guys get hurt, the roster numbers all end up working out. And you think that you're going to have to cut somebody, but then you don't have to cut anybody because you need the depth anyway. So that's why doing this so early is always a projection, but I think that people want to know how the rookies fit. And specifically, C.J. West, Alfred Collins, and Mykel Williams, they all fit as potential starters for the 49ers. So on to the offensive line. The offensive line, as the starting five goes, and went last year, is fine for the 49ers. And I'll delve into this deeper on the San Francisco Standard over the course of this week. I know that that's probably going to be seen as a controversial take, but I don't really think that it is. They're right in the middle of the pack when it came to pass block win rate. They're right in the middle of the pack when it came to run blocking. It wasn't an atrocious offensive line, and I was the first to say that they could improve last year. So don't start on, oh, you're being too nice to the 49ers offensive line. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping things within context. They can theoretically be fine running it back with the same starting five on the offensive line, which is obviously what they're set up to do. But it's going to be mandatory for the 49ers to find a way to figure out the depth, because you're never going to win in this league, go all the way in this league in a marathon kind of situation to the Super Bowl. You're never going to win with only 5 good offensive linemen. And maybe they've got 6, maybe they've got 7, but I think you need 7 or 8 for sure. And so the big test here, and I could show you guys the roster again, the big test for the 49ers in terms of offensive linemen will be, is Spencer Burford good enough to be a swing tackle? Is Connor Colby, the rookie, good enough to challenge for one of the guard spots, or at least develop as quality depth this year? And where's Nick Zakel's development at? And even if, all 3 of those things happen to break in the positive, I still think that the offensive tackle, swing tackle situation is sketchy because Spencer Burford doesn't have a whole lot of experience at that position at this level. So this is where we can start opening up the free agent discussions again. As I said in the video earlier today, I think the 49ers wanted to draft a tackle. I think all the evidence points in that direction. But the Raiders, right ahead of the 49ers pick at number 100, so the Raiders at number 98 and 99 had 2 straight picks and picked 2 straight offensive linemen. And I don't think that the 49ers were expecting that. It'd be hard for anybody to expect that. But the Raiders did it, and the 2 linemen that they picked were both guys whom the 49ers had met with, Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant. Rogers even came on a 30 visit to San Francisco. So instead of force-feeding themselves a pick of an offensive lineman after 2 of their potential guys were off the board, the 49ers went in a different direction, and they said, okay, we would have liked to have picked a tackle this year, but nobody really fits because the Raiders cut in front of us. We don't need one to start this season, but they definitely need some depth this year. In fact, when you look at my roster, do you guys see the red here? There's only 1 red cell, and that's at swing tackle. There used to be a whole lot more red up and down this whole roster, but now it's filled with green because green signifies rookies that the 49ers have added. Look, there's the Giants ballpark. Look at all this traffic in San Francisco. Are the Giants playing at home tonight? The Giants are playing at home tonight. I could see why this is a bit of an issue, but it's giving us a little bit more time to talk and break down this roster. I'm on my way to the Warriors game. If you have an extra ticket, let me know. That'd be great because you're kind of driving blind to the game. Going there without a ticket, but I think it's not really a roll of the dice. I'd rather be around the arena than not be around the arena. No Giants game today, Alex says. That's good. That's probably actually helping our traffic situation here on Townsend Street. But anyway, that one hole is something that the 49ers are going to have to think long and hard about. And right now they might still be reeling if they did plan to develop or draft and develop a tackle. And say that it was Charles Grant. Here's the good news. Here's the silver lining. Charles Grant is a raw tackle. And if it was Caleb Rogers, he might not even be capable of playing tackle effectively at the next level. A lot of people are projecting him as a guard. So if the 49ers were indeed planning to pick a tackle at the end of the third round, that would not have been a legitimate, I think, prospect for this productivity this season. It would have been somebody who probably required a year of seasoning. So even if they did get a guy, I don't know if that guy would realistically help them all too much in 2025. They would have had to use a top 10 pick on Mimbu or Will Campbell or even Kelvin Banks Jr., but that wasn't going to happen. They might have picked one of those guys that they dropped to 11, but of course that's a pure hypothetical that didn't come to fruition, so there's really no reason to waste time talking about it. So either way, the 49ers would have been in a similar boat for 2025, this upcoming season. It's about the future plan at tackle. Is there anybody, as we look at this roster and go over to the right side, is there anybody here that is a true prospect for the future at tackle? Because McKivitz right there is only under contract for this one last season. I mean, they could extend him, but that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if that's in the plans. Williams is going to be 37. And then we look over here, and maybe Austin Pleasance, who was re-signed to a one-year deal. Drew Moss is the new lineman that they picked up, a good zone blocker, but he's an interior lineman. He's a guard. Hennessy's an interior lineman. Zach Johnson's an interior lineman. Nugent's a center. I mean, they're really... You're putting a lot of faith right now in Burford and Austin Pleasance. So I do think that another tackle is going to need to be added by the 49ers. The name I keep on bringing up, you probably already heard it a few times, is Jedrick Willis Jr. He's still only 25 years old. He's available. Disappointing start to his career, I get it, but he has been in the system, right? Or a very similar system with the Cleveland Browns. So there still are, 3 or 4 months left until the start of the season. And because of that, we can sit back and we can wait. There's an ambulance going by us right now. We can sit back and we can wait to see what the 49ers will do, whether it be another signing, a trade for a swing tackle. It obviously isn't like the 49ers are about to suit up and play a game coming up tonight. The Warriors are playing a game, though, and that's where I'm headed to. This bar right here, it's called Local Tap. It's on the corner of Brannan. I'm not on Townsend, sorry, I'm on Brannan. This bar, Local Tap, on the corner of Brannan and 3rd, that's the Packers bar. I know that because I went and checked out a Packers-Lions game there, and it was going crazy. They love that my last name is Lombardi. The only position where the 49ers did not add a rookie over the course of the past few days is tight end. And George Kittle's back in the building, by the way. I know we already did the update video on that. So Kittle, Luke Farrell, well, they added a veteran, Luke Farrell. He reprises the Charlie Werner role. And, Farrell should be able to do some of the pass blocking that the 49ers asked their tight ends to do. And if that's the case, then Kittle should theoretically be able to go out on a few more pass patterns. He only pass blocked like 51, 52 times last year. But if that number can be cut in half by what Luke Farrell's doing, that's 25 more times that George Kittle can be deployed on a route. And you know what? I think that would be beneficial to the 49ers because he's such an efficient receiver. Look, we've got some driverless car mayhem right here. If I could zoom in over here. All kinds of driverless cars. Look, there's another one comes into the screen. Waymo. Are they taking everybody to the Warriors game? Possibly. It's going to be a little bit of a mess here trying to make this left turn, isn't it? Well, we could show you guys the roster while we wait because we're at the tight end position where the 49ers didn't add a rookie. So I project right now 4 tight ends to make it, but I think that especially Braden Willis might be on the hot seat. If they like Mason Pline, who's the only tight end on this side of the projection, second-year man, developing guy, if they really like him, he'll unseat either Willis or Tonjes, theoretically, on the 53-man, and they don't necessarily have to carry 4 tight ends. So if they needed to carry an extra guy at a different position, tight end may be the room that gets the cut. All right, back to the driverless car mayhem. It's a traffic jam. People are trying to turn left. Waymos are trying to turn left. Everybody's trying to get to the Warriors game. I don't know how this is going to work. I know that Marlowe, the restaurant on the right, has a good burger, though. I'm definitely not stopping there because we're talking about the 49ers and observing Waymo after Waymo make its way through this intersection. And this is just tough because all these people are so crowded on. This is 4th Street. At some point, I might just give up and take the train, but I still have more positions to talk about, so that's okay. We've got the receiver position to talk about. So I've got Ayuk shaded in pink because I think that he's going to be on PUP to begin the season. Demarcus Robinson, he's shaded in teal because he was added this offseason. He's right there. Jordan Watkins, shaded in green, rookie that the 49ers just picked up. So Robinson might be suspended. There was a DUI arrest. Look, there's the train. So I missed the train. That's going to beat me to Chase Center for sure. But Robinson had that DUI arrest when he was still with the Rams back in December. There's a fear that he'll be suspended at the start of the year. And if Ayuk is not available because he's on PUP, so you've only got 4 guys on the inside of this roster picture right now at the receiver position. And they've typically carried 6 on the 53. So what that means an opportunity for the guys over here. So who do you see there? Tariq Owens, T.O.'s son, 2nd year in the league. He developed nicely last season behind the scenes. And then you've got Junior Bergen I've got to move him to special teams. He's not going to make this team as a receiver. So scratch Junior Bergen. Don't worry about his name right there. Isaiah Nair is the name that people need to keep in mind. Dane Brugler, who's one of the most respected Man, I keep on hitting the audio button. Okay, I said this is going to be really dramatic because we're now on train tracks in a Waymo with a train coming, and now we're behind like 5 other Waymos with 2 other Waymos waiting here. We have successfully made the turn. This person is walking in the middle of the train tracks. It's just crazy here on the way to the Warriors game. I apologize for the premature mute there. Didn't mean to do that, but I am now back. We're good. So at receiver, the 49ers have questions, and the questions may lead to opportunities. For Isaiah Nair, this extremely athletic receiver who just wasn't consistent in college. There was an injury issue for Isaiah Nair in Texas. There was a knee injury. He also had a problem where he just was dropping some passes. He just could not string together good performances, but he's got all the tools in the world. He runs a 4.40 40 at 6'4", 220. Not a 4.45, not a 4.46, not a 4.42. He runs a 4.40 40, which is blazing fast. And the 49ers can feel this guy, we can develop him. And if he shows that he can deliver some consistency, well, there may be opportunities at that receiving room. I also would not rule out the 49ers trying to bring in Amari Cooper just because of the receiving questions that I have outlined with Brandon Ayuk and Demarcus Robinson, especially if there's another injury in this room. And last year there were so many at the receiver position. So keep your eyes out for Tariq Owens and Isaiah Nair as the 49ers. You can never have too many bodies at that receiving room. Man, this is Kafka-esque traffic. I'm beginning to get a little bit worried. It's already 6:39. I've got to look for tickets for this game. No Chris Conley on the roster. People asking about him. I think that if we don't make much movement here by the time that I finish the last position group, I may have to get out and hop on the train. And the nice thing about these driverless cars is there is a way out. You can hit pull over. Somebody asked, is David Bakhtiari healthy? I've seen David Bakhtiari twice this offseason at this place that I go to in Nashville, and he is very much retired. So he lives down in Franklin in Tennessee, David Bakhtiari is done playing football. I don't know if he's officially retired, but no, somebody's asking about David Bakhtiari, and that's not going to happen. So that's the look at your receiver room. Let's move on to the running backs and the one fullback, Kyle Juszczyk. McCaffrey, Juszczyk, Guerendo, Jordan James. I think those are the guys that make this team. They've carried 4 running backs and 1 fullback in the past. If they do that this year, will Corey Kiner, the undrafted free agent, deliver for the 49ers in training camp? Will Patrick Taylor or Israel Abanikanda win that battle for the 49ers? That's the big question for San Francisco at the running back position. Kiner is a lot like Jordan James in that he doesn't have great athletic testing, but he is really hard to tackle. Kind of like Cody Schrader last year was, right? So if Kiner can prove himself in a way that Schrader unfortunately wasn't able to get to that level for the 49ers and they cut him, but there's more rookie room this year. If that can happen, I think you could see Kiner as this team's 4th running back. Guys, this is not looking good at all. So the good news is that the train has its own tracks and the stop is up there. This might become a situation where I look up when the next train is coming. They're probably 10 minutes apart. And I just take the train to the game. Oh, wait, there's another one right here. So they're probably running specials to the game at this point. So why don't we finish this up, and that will allow me to just hop onto one of these trains and take it 2 stops, and it's going to take me right to Chase Center. Because we only have 1 position left. So it's going to be okay. We got quarterback. The 3 quarterbacks who are going to make the 49ers 53-man roster are Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, and I think Tanner Mordecai. Because I think Curtis Rourke is going to be an injury redshirt. He played last year on a torn ACL, and I think that he's not going to obviously play this year on a torn ACL. Now we're getting passed by other Waymos. Great. Like, we're in the middle of 2 lanes. I don't know, guys. This is not good. I think the train or walking is going to be a better option. But I'm loyal to my viewers, and I'm going to finish the 49ers 53-man depth chart on the way to the Warriors game. Anyway, here are your 3. Purdy, Jones, Mordecai could be the 3rd. Curtis Rourke can be the 49ers injury redshirt. And there is a world in which if the 49ers want another QB on the roster, they sign somebody off the street if they IR Curtis Rourke. And he just, stays under team control, rehabs over the season, and then Curtis Rourke joins the mix in full for 2026. Or he recovers very quickly, and then the 49ers have a decision to make between Rourke and Tanner Mordecai. And if you want to keep the team control on Rourke, then you don't cut him. He makes the 53, and Tanner Mordecai ends up on the practice squad. Rourke would not go on PUP. He would go on NFI if the 49ers want him to come back this season. So you can put him on NFI because he got hurt in college. He didn't get hurt in an NFL game. That's the delineation there. So they could also do something where Curtis Rourke is out for the first 4 games of the season, at least 4 games of the season. That's the minimum length for PUP and NFI, and then reconvene in week 5. So they have a lot of options, but I think that they're happy that they got another quarterback under contract whom Kyle Shanahan really, really likes. So that is the 49ers 53-man roster. The projection is up on the San Francisco Standard. Yes, I'm a little crazy. I understand that. I have a 53-man roster projection out for you on April 28th. But that is why you guys tune in, because we are intense like that. And I think it's necessary because I think people want to know where those 17 rookies fit. So why don't we thank the traffic? The traffic allowed us and gave us the time to go through this entire roster. For a more in-depth look at it, make sure that you do go to the link in the description. Mike has put this roster in there. You can go check out the Standard, and I think it's a great time to sign up for the San Francisco Standard while I'm waiting in traffic on my way to the Warriors game. That being said, we're going to try to get this car to pull over. I think maybe we make the next green light, though, so maybe we go for one more little green wave here, and then we'll get the car to pull over. We can hit our little eject button here. We'll see how it works. We'll hit that pull over button, and then we'll figure out how to get to the stadium. like I said, the train will take me straight there. It wasn't worth it until now, but I think that it's going to be worth it very soon here since we just finished going through the whole roster. If you want a question answered, you should ask it right now. Because as you can tell, I'm thinking about bailing at some point, especially if this next light does not go well. Now, it's going to be interesting because we let all these Waymos get positioning on us. So you'd see them on the map. The other Waymos are on the map. All these guys got positioning on us to where I don't have a curb. So I don't know what's going to happen if I hit pull over, if I just get stuck in here. If this Casper had done a better job, then he would have positioned himself in the right lane instead of the left lane. So now we've got a green. And we're going to find out if this green is nice to us. See, all these Waymos have passed us. I don't know why we decided to go in the left lane instead of the right lane. So I'm going to hit pull over. This is me aborting right now.
Looking for a good spot to pull over.
Yeah, let's find a good spot to pull over because this is not going to be nice. This Waymo, hopefully this Waymo lets us pull over. Okay, so now Waymos are cutting off other Waymos. This guy, I mean, they should have communicated with each other. This guy should have let us pull over. Instead, we're just here with our turn signal getting cut off by his brother. It's not good. Not good at all. I have to check the ticket resale market right now to see what prices are at, but hopefully they've dropped a little bit. I'm guessing, yes, I'm guessing the Waymo's home base is somewhere in this area. Guys, I may not make it to the Warriors game at this rate. I mean, you could be happy that we got a show done, but Waymos are not kind to each other. I learned that today. When you have too many Waymos in one spot, these guys are just trying to, you know, I wonder if, yeah, maybe I could just walk out. Let me get my backpack. It's in the back here. I have to be ready for the walkout. You guys ready to watch this? Got another green coming up. Laptop being put away. So this might be an experiment. Walking out on a live broadcast. Look, we got another train coming too. If this Waymo would have pulled over a minute earlier. Oh, look, people. That is idiotic. Who would ever decide to sit on the train tracks blocking an intersection? That's not smart. Some people should have their license taken away. That's ridiculous. Train's obviously not happy. Now, these Waymos that are cutting us off need to have their license taken. But finally, we got a green light. Let's go. This is a tragedy. These Waymos just aren't letting us go. This is another one's cutting us off. I'm literally going to get out right now. All right, guys, here we go. Yep, it's going to work. It let me out. We're good. We are good. They're probably going to call right now. Extremely upset. Left everything in the car. We're fine. Casper did not do a good job today. I've got to walk to the game. See you guys later. One more look of shame at Casper. Bad driverless car.